Hi YouTube. We're just gonna do a quickish update, I guess. I don't know how much I'm gonna get into. But yes, as you can see, Atreyu is definitely here. He was born at 3:56 in the morning on Sunday, May 22nd. When I did my last update, I was definitely in labor. So like I told you guys that it was like very random contractions all the time, the entire day. Actually, I'll do my best to tell you my birth story right now. Why not? It's pretty short, really, even though the labor wasn't. So yeah, around 9 p.m. he was still not in a good position, and my back was hurting, and so I had Jay finish filling up the pool, and I figured I would labor a bit in the pool and see if I could get him to turn there, because my contractions, they were getting stronger, and at that point they actually did start having more of a pattern. I wasn't timing it at all, but it definitely seemed to be coming pretty regularly. So yeah, we got the pool finished, filled up. I got in there. I did a lot of hands and knees during contractions and in hopes of him turning, but he would not turn. So yeah, hours and hours and hours of that. We were keeping sort of an eye on the time to see, was he gonna make it out on the 21st, or would he be born on the 22nd, odd or even number, because all of our babies are born on an even number. So we wanted to know if he'd be the oddball or not, but no, he wanted an even number birthday as well. So let's see. I have no idea timeline wise, but anyways, sometime between midnight and 2, I think it was definitely closer to 2, so maybe between 1 and 2. We'll go with 1 and 2. My contractions, they started picking up even more. He still wouldn't turn into position. My cervix, I could feel that it had definitely dilated more, but he was not dropping. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. Where am I? Okay, I got I was still doing a lot of hands and knees and stuff, but I was also squatting. Well, not squatting, I was on my knees, but anyways, whatever. And I got the worst cramp in my leg ever. Like 10 times worse than any Charlie horse I'd ever had in my life. I could not bend my knee, and I was permanently stuck in the same position through multiple contractions, and it was not a good one. So yeah, finally when that let up, I started to feel weird, and I was sitting down in the pool, and I thought at first that it was my water breaking, but my water hadn't broken. I guess I had peed and I didn't feel it. It must have been from the pressure of the contractions, because after every contraction I had to go. But when I did, blood gushed out, and I was like, that's not good. It's like the only reason I could think of blood gushing out is when the placenta detaches or something, and I'm like, if that's the case, like, oh no. So I was just sitting there keeping an eye, and like, if there was more gonna come out, like, holy shit. My contractions were one on top of the other at that point, like lasting a minute, coming every minute. So and in between those contractions, my back did not stop hurting at all. So I started shivering. I was really cold all of a sudden. So I had Jay get the thermometer, and we checked my temperature. I did not have a fever at that point, but I felt like I was definitely gonna develop one. So Jay was concerned, as was I, about the bleeding. I took a few more contractions, and then some more blood came out. So we decided right then and there that I was to go to the hospital. Atreyu wasn't moving anymore, so I was like, really, really scared that something bad was happening. So Jay called his mom to come stay with the kids, and then he called 911. As the ambulance got closer to the house, I stood up to get dried off and get a shirt on so that he could get me to the ambulance. And when I stood up, I felt really nauseous, and I threw up in the pool multiple times. Got out of the pool, and I had to pee. And Jay was going to help me to the bathroom, and I was like, fuck that shit. And I peed standing right on my floor on top of a towel. So at least there was something to absorb it, but yeah. I got my shirt on and told Jay what things to grab that weren't in my bags already. And I went down the stairs, met the ambulance, the EMTs in my hallway, and got on the stretcher. The EMTs were literally hoping I would birth with them. It was ridiculous how they're like, is it happening right now? And all the way to the hospital, every contraction, do you feel the need to push? It's like, leave me alone. I was screaming non-stop through those contractions, and then even after because of the back pain. It was terrible, absolutely terrible experience. I have never in my life experienced a labor like that before, and I never want to experience that again. Anyways, so as I got down the stairs actually to go to the ambulance, Atreyu started to move, and I was so relieved. And anyways, they monitored his heart rate all the way there. Get to the hospital, and I am met by the doctor that I fought with when I went into the hospital after having Astoria. So I was so frustrated that it was her that was going to be delivering my baby. But anyway, so got into the room. Jay followed the ambulance because he had to wait for his mom to get there with the kids. Or rather to stay with the kids. Anyways, and when he got to the hospital, he couldn't remember what floor to go to, and so it took him a little longer to get there. I'm not sure how long it actually took him to meet us there, but it seemed like a really long time, and I was so afraid that the baby would be born when he wouldn't be there. But anyways, he made it, and I had a fever at that point, so they said I had a uterine infection. They had to take my temperature rectally because to confirm, I guess, what they were getting on the thermometer in my mouth, which was freaking amazing because, you know, I had hemorrhoids this pregnancy pretty bad and you don't want something stuck up there. But anyway, and they did all of this stuff while I was having those back-to-back contractions and checking my cervix and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, get out and stop touching me. But anyway, I was 8 centimeters when we got to the hospital. He was still too high for them to break my water. So we had to wait a bit. Meanwhile, I sort of felt like I needed to push, but not really. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I did not want to be birthing there. I was really tense and like trying to avoid it, I guess. Even though I wanted it to be over with. It was kind of complicated feeling, I guess. So anyways, I started pushing a little bit secretly, I would say, because they didn't know I was pushing. Anyways. To help him move down, anyways, and they checked me again after a bit, and I still had a bit of cervix in the way, but he was now low enough for them to break my water, so they did that, and then she wanted to double check to see what position he was in exactly, his head, so she could maybe help me, like, direct me into which side to roll to help him maybe get into a better position. So she did that, and I was yelling at her to get her fingers out because it hurt so bad. But of course, they didn't listen. Anyways, so they ended up having me roll onto my right side, and I pushed a little more without them knowing because, you know, your cervix isn't entirely dilated, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, as I'm pushing without them knowing, she checks me again and she says that, okay, you can push now. Anyways, I'm like, good for you, I already was. But anyway, so I was pushing on my right side. I had my leg like propped up. But it wasn't like wide open like I should have had, but I could not. I was in too much pain and just no, I couldn't. Anyways, as I was pushing, I do have the birth on video, but I will not be sharing it. It's way too much vagina. Anyway, the doctor was trying to put her hands there to support me, and I was yelling at her to not touch me, to move her hands and to stop. And like you could see in the video that she kind of hesitated. She was like, okay, I'll stop, but then she didn't stop. I wanted to kill her. But anyway, he was out very quickly. My video is a little bit like between 3 and 4 minutes long, and part of that is them cleaning him up or Jay getting moving around after he was born. So yeah, my fastest pushing stage was I think 10 minutes, and like yeah, he was out fast. He came out kind of sideways, and yeah, I was pushing him out. They tried to lift my leg, but I yelled at them to stop because I just could not deal with it. So they did. Anyways, I tore for the first time in my life. I tore a little 1-degree tear in the perineum. It's not a big deal. It isn't really bugging me at all. Anyway, so he came out pretty fast, and he cried almost immediately after they suctioned him, which is annoying. But anyway, I had them wait to cut the cord. They didn't wait as long as I would have liked, because they didn't like how he was acting, I guess, at one point. So they cut the cord to take him over to check him out. But like within 30 seconds of them doing that, the doctor was like, you can bring him back to her, he's fine. I'm like, oh, great, so you cut the cord before you needed to. But anyway, I think they were pretty surprised when I denied them putting a hat on him. But I doubt too many mothers have said, no, don't put a hat on my newborn. But anyway, so yeah, he didn't have a hat on. So she did my stitches and yada yada. Atreyu weighed 8 pounds, 15.6 ounces. So he's my second biggest baby. 20 inches long. And his head was 13.5 inches. He has red hair. Redder than Astoria's ever was. And freckles. But you can't really see the freckles, unfortunately. They're really small. But he's so cute. I'll attach pictures because I don't know how well I can. Oh, we're gonna wake up to have a booby. My milk came in overnight. Yeah, I'm 3 days old today. I know you can't really see him. I'll attach the pictures. So yeah, I think that's really it. So unfortunately, I didn't get my unassisted birth that I wanted, but I'm happy he's here. We had to stay in the hospital for a bit because of the infection, and we had antibiotics, and they tested his blood sugar levels multiple times. His poor little freaking heels are bruised. He had so many tests. His levels were low. We got him up, and they wanted us to stay another night, but I refused, and we came home. They kept me up the entire first night after he was born, because they wanted him to eat, and blood test. Like, every time I would be like, okay, finally, he's ready to sleep. I'd lay him down. I'd go to lay down. And the nurse would come in and say, nope, he can't sleep. He has to eat. And I'm like, oh my God, like, give us a break. So yeah, I was over 48 hours with no sleep. It was ridiculous. And Jay had to come home to stay with the kids because his mom was babysitting but she couldn't stay and stay and stay and stay forever. She would go home and come back when she could. So that was fun. It was hard to be by myself, dealing with all those blood tests. But yeah, so I think that's really all. The labor and stuff that scarred me, and like literally I was like, I'm never having another baby. There's no way in hell. I enjoyed giving birth and my labors for the other ones. Even for like Aiden, I had horrible back labor, and it was the first experience, and it was horrible. But I don't really remember that much anymore, how just horrible it was, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as this one. I always look forward to the experience, and then this happens. This whole one was just the worst. I've never experienced pain like that in my life. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Who's to say that another one would be as horrible, right? And he's just so sweet. I'm co-sleeping because it's easier. He doesn't like to be away from me. I know I was going to end the video, but I'm talking again. But anyways, Astoria, she was not too impressed with him yesterday. First day with us at home with him, and normally in the morning, she sits on me for a couple hours after I wake up. Like, she gets up and she's up with Jay for a couple hours before I get up. Anyway, and he was on me, and so she couldn't get on me, and so she cried and cried and cried, and I sat on the couch instead of at the computer, because normally I get up and I go on the computer and she sits on me and we listen to music and I go through all my Facebook and everything. But yeah, so I sat on the couch so that she could be beside me, and I offered her to nurse as well, but she wouldn't. She was just upset. But yeah, she thinks he's pretty interesting. Every time she sees him, it's really cute. She likes to beep his nose and tickle his feet. I cannot put him down around her though. She does not understand at all how to be gentle. I tried putting him in the vibrating rocking chair yesterday, and she was shaking it, and she was laughing because it would bobble his head, the poor baby. And then she was like trying to poke his face, and she scratched him. So yeah, I've never had kids this close together before. It's always been like 26 months to like 2.5 years old. So a year and a half apart seems a little bit harder. So I've literally been wearing him yesterday all day, today all day. Which I don't mind at all. I wanted to wear him more than I had worn my others, so this kind of forces me to do that. He also prefers it. He doesn't really like to be put down for very long, so that's cool. Yeah. The other kids think he's pretty cute, I guess. Acadia wants to hold him a lot. Ariel always wants to kiss him, and when she sees that I'm wearing him, it's like she's shocked every time, like, oh, is that the baby? I love the new baby Atreyu. She's so cute. Yeah, Aiden, I don't know. This is like his first Astoria. Not much reaction. It's like he's been there, done that so many times. It's a new baby, who cares? I thought he might care a bit more since he finally got his little brother, but I guess since there's such an age difference and like there's nothing he can do with him right now, it's like, who cares? It'll be interesting to see how they interact, I guess, as he gets older and is able to actually play. Aiden definitely wants to teach him all about Pokemon, Power Rangers, and Skylanders, so we shall see. Yeah, Jay's been taking a few hours at night so that I can catch up on some sleep, but tonight I'm not allowing him to stay up with him because he sleeps pretty well, and Jay needs sleep. He's tired. So yes, we gotta get back into our routine. Alright, now I think I'm done. I will attach those pictures. Thanks for watching.